All right, I'm gonna work on some shipping, so it's chatty work with me time. I've got my timer right here. Today's topic is going to be just an annoying eBay customer experience that I had recently. So I'm gonna talk all those details and more in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, this is my pile of stuff I need to lint roll to ship. These are my apples that I picked this weekend. I didn't pick them, actually. I'm not even gonna go there. That I bought at one of our apple farms this weekend. And I'll talk about that at the end of the video when I talk about just personal updates. But this topic, disclaimer, is not to bash any eBay customers. It's a chatty work with me. I just need things to talk about while I work and do these videos. And there are two people in this equation. There's me, the seller, and there's the buyer. And I can honestly say, I think I could have maybe done things differently. You may not agree with how I handled the situation, but I'm gonna talk through that and hopefully you'll understand that we're all human. I stand by my decision of what I ended up deciding to do to handle this customer situation. And these videos, none of my videos are to imply that you should do what I do. It's just simply sharing my reselling journey on this channel and hopefully being honest and truthful and upfront and real about the highs and the lows. And some lows are customers. Now, I like all the platforms in some way, and I dislike all the platforms in some way. And eBay is no exception. Even though I prefer eBay as a platform, it has downsides. So I will talk a little bit about that. But 99% of the customers I've dealt with on eBay are great. And I remember before selling on eBay, I would watch these videos of people talking about, getting scammed on eBay or bad customer experiences, and it was kind of scaring me out of trying it. So that is not the point of this video. That's enough disclaimers. Basically, I'm just sharing an experience. That's it. It's not that serious. All right, so what happened? So there is I got an offer one day, it was like a week ago, on a recently listed pair of Free People cargo pants. Now, I have never sold Free People cargo pants. Is that a condor? I think the condors are here. And I might have to, during the chatty work with me, if he comes back, run and take you out to see him. But anyways, California condor, big bird, giant bird, huge bird. They occasionally come around, not often, so I'm always excited to see them. All right, already distracted. So I had listed this pair of Free People cargo pants. Now, cargo pants kind of come in and out. This year, they're on some trend lists. Last year, they were as well. These are a slim leg or a skinny leg pair of Free People cargo pants. And I just listed them. So I decided, because we're going into fall, these are kind of cute fall pants. You can still wear them with boots. I decided to list them at $34.99 to be exact on eBay. And they had been listed a week, and I got an offer on Poshmark for $15. Now, before I even saw the offer, because I had my phone on silence while filming a video, or I was dealing with real estate clients, or some reason I wasn't, looking at my phone, I didn't see the offer come in. But when I did see it, I noticed the seller or the buyer had canceled the order or canceled the offer. So $15 on a $35 pair of pants, just for perspective, that's 67% off my asking price. Now, the value of them, Free People is pretty common, but I just listed them a week before. So that's a low ball offer. So they canceled their offer. I would have declined anyways, so not a big deal. But then the same person must have gone over, yes, that is a condor. Maybe he'll stick around for a little bit. Whatever. Maybe during the break, the condors will be out and I'll show you the condors. Anyway, I also have to use my daylight to actually get work done. But so I don't know how long later, after they canceled the Poshmark offer, they gave me an offer on eBay for $15 as well. I think the reason they did that was because on eBay, my shipping for this item cost was probably $6.50, and on Poshmark it would have been a little more than $1 more. So I think she maybe did a search on both, realized it's the same pair of pants, slightly cheaper shipping on eBay. So that's why she did that, I'm assuming. Anyway, so by the time I saw this offer, the original offer, the canceled offer, and then the new offer on eBay, I was already just like, I just listed these a week ago. I just declined. So I have my little breakdown of of the timeline of everything. So I declined it. She, shortly after, within 15, 20 minutes, sent me a message on eBay and quote, it said, "Will you discount at all? These are older. I have 2 pairs. Please send me an offer you are willing to if you are willing to discount at all. Thank you so much." So I don't care if something's older. And maybe that doesn't make sense to people, but if you already own 2 pairs of pants, just like I own multiple pairs of the same jeans or shorts or even some tops, if you like the fit of that, just because it may not be a current style doesn't mean that there isn't demand. So it's all, pricing, supply, and demand to a degree. So I'm not going to have some buyer tell me that just because it's older, they have the right to send me a 67% off offer on something that was just listed a week ago. Now, before anyone jumps down my throat, I know the buyers don't necessarily know how long it's listed. And I know some people think, well, it doesn't hurt for them to try it, starting the conversation. To me, if you're offering that low on a recently listed item, I'm not going to go back and forth and do this negotiation game. I'm going to decline. If you want to come with a stronger offer, you can do that. Well, that's what happened. So I did not respond to her message, which I will explain why I choose not to reply to I do not reply to messages on eBay unless absolutely necessary. And there's a very good reason, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I didn't respond to her message. She canceled her $15 order or offer, and then she gave me a $20 offer after she sent this message. Well, I was doing something. I was distracted. I was, doing 1 million things. So I didn't see it right away. And so she sent me the $20 offer. She waited a little bit, and then she sent me another message. All of this is within like 2 hours. And then the second message said, "Would love to purchase. Will you let me know if you'll take 25?" So then she goes to cancel the $20 offer. She then gives me the $25 offer. Now at this point, it's the evening, I'm home, I'm not distracted. It's a $25 offer on a $35 item. Yeah, I'm gonna accept that. I accept reasonable offers. And I don't honestly know what I would have done if she didn't cancel the $20 offer. I probably would have maybe just forgotten about it and it would have just been ignored. And maybe some people come back and offer again the next day. I don't know. I wouldn't have accepted it because it was still $20 offer is 43% off my asking price. And I could go back and look at comps and see does this fall in line with the comps, and should I just accept? Sure, it's a bins item, I could have just accepted, but again, I was distracted and it just wasn't a solid offer on a recently listed item. All right, so how many times have I said this was a recently listed item? This is what you get when the birds are going crazy and the sun is going down. All right, so I accepted later that night, which was about 2 hours after she sent the $25 offer. I just accepted. I didn't respond to her original 2 messages. There was no need for me to. She figured it out. It was a lowball offer. She tried again. I still didn't respond. She tried again. I accepted. Now, I'm not saying buyers who do this are all bad by any means. But sometimes, in my experience, not saying this is going to be the experience of everyone, but in my experience, sometimes the people that I have difficult customer situations with, maybe they open a case or they start a return making false claims, oftentimes, they tend to be the ones that send lowball offers in the beginning and try to, I don't know, they're like desperate. And like in this case, she's trying to tell me it's an older item, so that's why I should sell it for less. Again, in some people's opinion, no harm, no foul. She's just sending whatever offer she feels comfortable. And other people can say, well, if you don't want lowball offers, you can change that on eBay where you don't ever get them. True, I don't mind seeing lowball offers. They don't offend me. I also don't mind declining if they're too low or countering if need be. But in this situation, I was like, she's kind of one of those. I'm just gonna accept, move it really quick, and it's gone. So this was Tuesday night. I think I accepted her offer around 8:30 p.m. She paid later that night, 9:30, 10:30 p.m., something around there. I don't ship every day. So if you guys are not familiar, if you're new here, I live 30 minutes from the post office. I do not have postal pickup here. I'm in a rural area. That's not an option here through USPS. So I have to go to the post office. And due to gas prices and also just due to time, I choose to only ship every other day. So I typically will ship, like let's say I ship on Friday, I won't ship again until Tuesday because I've shipped on Friday, Monday I'll skip as the business day, and then I'll ship on Tuesday. So I shipped the day that she was sending these offers and she paid that night. So I wasn't gonna ship the next day, which was Wednesday. Thursday morning, I go to yoga class. I haven't been able to go to a lot of yoga recently, and I went to this class. I mean, I've been going to like 1, maybe 2 classes a week. I would love to go to 3, but it's also in town, so it's a little far for me. And my schedule's just been super busy. And so I went to this yoga class, morning class, and it was just a really difficult class. It was one of those classes where I left and I was just not happy. I just wasn't getting a lot of poses. I was feeling worn down. I wasn't the only one. Like there were newbies in there and they were just like, it was just a tough class. And sometimes that happens and I'm not, whatever. So I get out of yoga class and I always leave my phone. I don't bring the phone with me to yoga. So when I get back to my phone, I realized that I got a message from her, the third message. And this was basically somewhere around like 36 hours after she purchased. Mind you, I have 2-day handling time. And so I'm not violating any eBay things, anything like that. She sends me a message and quote, it said, did I write the quote on here? I didn't write the quote. Basically, the message just said, when are you going to ship this item? And I was not in a good space. I'll talk about if I would have done anything differently after I get through the story. But I was out of a really difficult yoga class. I had a really busy day. I've been really like stressed, not stressed, but like just overdoing it a little bit. And I understand that. And this will pass. If you don't know why, I'm in an escrow on a house. I'm a real estate agent. It's stressful to be in escrow with, new buyers, and it's very exciting, but it's also a lot of work. And I'm also trying to keep my reselling business and YouTube all going. So it's just, and I won't have real estate clients at all time. That's very part-time for me. It's exciting, but it's just a lot of work right now. So I was annoyed. I was annoyed that she just was that type of buyer that like, it hasn't even been, like I was going to go home and do my shipping. And I just didn't want to sell it to her. I just decided in that moment, in that gut reaction, I wasn't going to sell to her. So I canceled the order. And you guys don't have to agree with me. You can choose to, you reserve the right to refuse business, people. What is the sign that's in businesses? Whatever. I reserve the right to refuse business, whatever. Those really common signs you see in businesses. I talked to eBay one time about like, hey, I'm going to cancel this order. This person is sending me these inappropriate messages. This was a long time ago. And I don't feel comfortable sending them, like selling this to them. Can I cancel the order? And they said, yeah, you have the right to cancel an order as a seller. So I did. And I didn't lie about it. I mean, I said it was out of stock or damaged because there's only 3 options on eBay if you want to cancel. One is if the buyer's address is wrong. One is if the buyer asked to cancel. And one is if the item is damaged or you don't have it anymore. Now, I obviously have it. It's not damaged. I just don't want to sell to her. Now, if I choose the reason that I chose, I get a ding on my eBay account. I don't do this often. I don't get a lot of dings. Maybe I like accidentally can't find an item and I have to cancel it. I don't get a lot of dings. So it's not going to be a huge penalization, but I'm going to take that because I don't want to deal with this buyer anymore. So I canceled her order. I went onto my block bidder list, which on eBay is basically a list you can do if you don't want anyone to buy from you. Again, you can put them on this list. And I added her there, her username, and then I just went about my morning. I felt so much better. I went about my shipping, and of course, that $25 quick flip would have been nice, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's just not worth it to me. It's not worth the hassle of dealing with someone who just is annoying me. And in my opinion, caught me just at a bad time. And again, there were 2 people in this equation, and I am owning up to the fact that maybe I could have done things differently. But this is what I decided to do. And honestly, eBay is partly at fault here, and I'll get to that in a second. But anyways, the not short ending to this, because it's a chatty work for me, so I'm going to be chatty. Oh, we've got some direct sun going on. The sun is going down right behind the camera, so we're gonna get some really nice lighting in my face. So I canceled. I added her to my block bidder list. I relisted the pants immediately, so I just wouldn't forget. She then went to a different eBay account and she sent me a message. The reason she couldn't send me a message from the first account was not because I blocked her. I'll get to that in a second. But she went to another eBay account and sent me a message on the newly listed item and said, I purchased these pants and you canceled my order saying they are not available. Clearly, in bold, they're listed and available. Why would you do this? I then just ignored that message because at this point, it's like I can't explain to her that she lowballed me. She lowballed me again, not as bad of a lowball. And she was just sending these unnecessary messages. She was making claims that making me feel as if my pricing was wrong because it was an older pair of pants. Well, you want them. So, and you can't find them anywhere else or you wouldn't be buying them from me. So it was just all in all, I didn't like this buyer. And I just had this gut instinct that she was just going to be a pain in some way, shape or form. Like she was going to be the person that comes back and says, I found a loose string on these pants that wasn't disclosed and I want to open an item not as described on eBay, which is another way to get penalized on eBay. And I don't want to deal with that because I just don't. So that was the buyer. Now getting to the part where the messaging, why did I not respond to her messages? So I've learned the hard way through I've only had a few really terrible customer experiences, and I wouldn't even put this in the terrible camp. She didn't cuss at me. She didn't call me names. A couple people have, and I'll get to those stories if I can remember them in a second. But again, 99% of buyers on eBay are great. On all the platforms are great, but there's, just like with any customer service job, there are some interesting people out there, challenges, and we try our best, and we're human. So why do I not respond to messages unless I absolutely have to? So the two people before, one was like a year ago, one was about 2 years ago. I had some not so nice eBay customers who got really upset with me. And I was going back and forth with them about an item. Again, I'll try and remember what they were. I know I can remember one, I'll have to try and remember the other. And when I would call eBay, like the first person that had this like crazy outburst and went crazy on me, I asked this eBay person, like, is there a way for me to, I added them to my block bidder list. Why are they still able to message me? And what they explained was, if basically eBay's system, and in my opinion, this is a flaw. I think if you are being attacked, called names, just harassed in any way like that, I think you should be able to, sorry, I feel like I hear something outside besides the birds, I think you should be able to just block communication from someone immediately if you need to. And my understanding from eBay, at least 2 years ago when I talked to them the first time about a bad buyer, and then about a year ago talking about a bad buyer again, my understanding is that they will be able to message you even if you add them to your block bidder list. But their messages will stop coming to you, stop being sent to you if you ignore a certain amount of messages. Now, they never told me how many, but it looks, in my 3 experiences that I've dealt with this, it looks like it's about, if you ignore 3 messages, approximately, you'll no longer get any messages from them. Or those people just stop messaging me, but I have a feeling, just based off of my experiences, they continue to message or try to message. So when I learned this about eBay, that even if you add someone to the block bidder list, that they can still message you, especially if you've been going back and forth via message through eBay, that, in my opinion, like in this situation, she messaged me once, I didn't respond. She messaged me a second time, I didn't respond. Those things can be done through an offer button. You don't need to tell me that the item's older and ask me if I would accept a price when there's an offer button. It's not necessary. It's a waste of time for me. The third message, her asking if I was going to ship the item, was the third message I didn't respond to. And that's why I think she tried to send me another message, the 4th message, through that account, but wasn't able to because I had ignored the previous 3 messages. Now, I did share with the eBay team that I talked to, this is inappropriate that people are able to continue to message us and harass us, even if they're not technically violating eBay's policies, like it's inappropriate at times, but they're not using racial slurs or, threatening your life, like that would be a very serious thing. If they're not going to those extreme things, eBay kind of sees it as like, okay, we can't necessarily open a case against them, just ignore their messages. That was their guidance to me. Just ignore their messages and they'll eventually stop. So that's what happened the previous 2 times. So every time I deal with eBay messages now, I sit there and go, okay, unless I absolutely have to respond to a message, I'm just not going to. Now, have to. Let's dive into that. Someone who asked me before they buy an item, hey, can you tell me the hip measurement? A measurement that I don't do. I do provide measurements on all my clothing items. A hip measurement isn't one of them, and I'm not going to spend the time to go pull an item to get a hip measurement when there's at least a 50-50 chance, if not more, that they won't buy the item. And it's just a decision I've made. I try to provide clear measurements that are basic, but I'm not gonna do more than that. And some people choose to, and that's okay, but I feel like I'm doing at least something. So in that situation where someone messages me and they haven't bought an item and they just say, hey, can I have the hip measurement? I'm just not gonna respond. Now, if they end up buying it and then they can, like, of course I'm gonna get the hip measurement because I've gotta pull it to ship. But in that situation, I do have to respond to them, in my opinion, because you don't want to ship something off and then them come back and say, I asked a question and then they just never responded. And, I bought the item, but they never, I kind of disagree with that, to be honest. I don't think you should buy an item until you had all your questions answered. It's kind of like when a huge pet peeve of mine on eBay is when someone will buy something from you and then they'll say, hey, can you ship this tomorrow morning? I really need this for a wedding this weekend. And I'm like, I can't. Yeah, that's a question you should have asked before you purchased, because now I'm going to have to go ahead and cancel your order and waste that time when in reality you should have gotten a response for that or asked that question before purchasing. And I get it. Like, a lot of people are in the Amazon world. And the other thing about the messages thing, I think we should be able to stop messages instantly if we choose to. Sorry, I turned off my fan. I closed this door. I feel like I should open this door. Let's open this door. Have some breeze going on. I did it. It was only like 70 today, but I've been running around trying to get caught up. So the 2 big flaws for me on eBay or with eBay is the messages. I think if you want to end communication and you don't have an open transaction, like things have been canceled, you don't have an open transaction with someone, I think a seller should have the right to just terminate any future communication. The other side, or a second thing that I wish eBay would change, is that they were more clear to buyers about when to expect the item. So I didn't go and look at things that I purchased. If it tells you, I think it gives you like an estimate, a range, but it doesn't tell the person, this seller has 2-day handling and your item will be shipped by this day. So I understand why some people ask, like, hey, when are you going to ship this item? Because I don't think eBay makes it very clear. And when sellers have the right to choose their handling time, maybe you're going on a short vacation and you don't want to put your store on vacation mode. You guys can correct me down below if I'm wrong, but I think you can do up to a 10-day handling time. Now, I do have a couple friends who have used that before. And what they do is if they sell something to someone, they will send that person a message and say, hey, I just wanted to make sure you saw or you knew, because no one really sees that part. Like, you have to click on something to see handling time. They'll send the buyer a message and say, hey, just an FYI, I'm on vacation. I have got my handling time to 10 days or 8 days or whatever it is. Is it okay, or do you want me to cancel this order? And some people will say, yeah, not a big deal. I'm not in any rush to get it. And some people say, yeah, cancel it. So that's how I've heard some people have handled that. But mine's only 2-day handling. It's not drastic. It's just skipping a business day. So I do wish eBay were more clear to buyers when they got that. You've paid. Just say, your item will be shipped by this day. If you do not get a tracking information by this day, contact the seller. Something that's like very clearly stated so they know what to do. You know what I mean? It's because I do get this question. The difference in this situation that I'm talking about and other situations is usually that's the first message I get from someone. So it'll be like, maybe I'm camping one weekend and I'm not shipping on Monday because I shipped on Friday. And on Monday night at like 4 p.m., I'll get a message from someone and I'll be driving home and it'll be like, aren't you shipping this yet? And I'm sitting there going, no, I don't have to ship it until tomorrow. eBay makes it very clear to sellers when you have to ship by, like what that deadline is. But they don't make it clear to buyers. And I wish eBay would change that. So I'm trying to limp roll, but you know, we've got this like funky sun. It just adds an element. What can I say? All right. On that note, we're going to fast forward into time, and I'm just going to take a quick pause to mention the sponsor of today's video, which is my favorite. It's Green Chef. We're going to fast forward to after I film this video when I'm making dinner tonight and show you something I'm so looking forward to. So one of my favorite things about Green Chef is the food's delivered to my door. It's awesome. And things have been so busy for me recently that it just helps me save time and also energy on busy weeknights because all the meals are conveniently packaged and I just don't have to think about it. I am honestly so excited that fall is here, and these warm, cozy, and balanced meals really keep things interesting for me so I'm not making the same food every day, and they also support my healthy lifestyle. Okay, tonight I'm so excited about this meal. I've had it once before, and it's the Middle Eastern style chickpea bowls. I love bowls. So this has pistachio turmeric rice, which I'm cooking right now. It's got carrots, cardamom, spiced yogurt, and I just chopped up the veggies. So there were all different color carrots, and then I've got some green onions. I'm going to strain the chickpeas, start cooking. I'm so excited about dinner. So if you are new here and you don't know what Green Chef is, it is a CCOF certified organic company, and they have options for every lifestyle. So you can choose from keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free options, or you can mix and match like I do. I've said it before and I will say it again. I love the pre-made and pre-measured sauces, dressings, and spices because it just makes things so easy for me and it gives me kind of a restaurant quality meal at home, which I love. So if you haven't tried Green Chef yet, I highly recommend you can use my code COMMONTAGS135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes plus free shipping on your first box. So you can go to greenchef.com for more details. So Green Chef, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. I love these meals and I'm going to chow down. Let's get back to the rest of the chatty work with me. All right, back to lint rolling. So those are a couple things that I wish eBay would change. If I don't feel like I'm in a safe conversation with someone, I want to cut it off. And if I just wish my buyers knew when I was going to ship. Because I think it's frustrating for them and it's frustrating for me. But in this situation, I was already feeling uncomfortable about selling to this buyer. Now, going back to what I said earlier about would I do anything differently if I could go back in time? So here's the one thing that's like, I try to live this type of way just in life, not just reselling. When you're frustrated and maybe you get a weird text or a weird email and it just puts you in kind of a negative space, just walking away from the situation, taking a time out, coming back to it when maybe you've had coffee, had some breakfast, you know, basically kind of calmed down a little bit. And I wasn't like angry. I was just coming out of a tough yoga class and I just lost it. So would I have done anything differently? I think the only thing I would have done differently is maybe not responded right away. Now, the reason I did was because I was going home to ship and it was going to be within a couple hours that she was going to get that tracking and that I would have taken it to the post office that afternoon. But I guess not everyone that asks questions or tries to lowball is going to be a bad buyer. But in this situation, it was just one too many red flags. And for me, in that moment, I just didn't want to sell to her. So would I have done anything differently? I don't know. You know, I hope she finds the pants somewhere else. I'm sure they'll pop up. I mean, they were a pretty tiny size. And, you know, free people, like people pick up free people pretty often. So I don't wish her any harm. And I she's not the worst. I do have some people who have called me terrible names because they were upset. And I'll talk about one because I may have talked about it at some point. I have a neighbor riding a dirt bike. This is what happens when people have acreage. He actually hasn't been riding as much recently, which thank goodness, because it has been a sore spot for me, especially when you have to film and you've got this which you guys might not be able to hear it because I've got the mic on, but so probably the worst customer experience. And I may have talked about it at one point, but it's probably been a while. My worst customer experience on eBay, possibly any of the platforms, was a woman who, and I tried to go back and find the messages because I wanted to read them word for word, avoiding any inappropriate words. But it had been it's been probably about 2 years, so I couldn't find them. eBay doesn't store messages that long. So this woman in Canada, she liked this pair of pants, and so she sent me a message on eBay for them. They were a pair of hey, Anthropologie little cargo pants. Why is it always cargo pants with me? Just kidding. But not kidding. Maybe I should just stop picking up cargo pants. So she sends me a message about that item and says, I like these pants and I also like 2 other items. I live in Canada and I'm just wondering if you can tell me how you're going to handle customs for these 3 items, if I buy all 3 of them, and how what the charge for shipping is going to be. So she was asking about customs and shipping. All international sales I choose to do on eBay go through a program called Global Shipping Program. Now, some eBay people don't use it, don't like it. I just got a notification, which I'm not going to worry about right now, but I use Global Shipping Program because it's just easy. And I do understand that some people don't like it because especially with Canada, they may charge more with shipping than necessary. You can ship it cheaper using other things like Pirate Ship or even eBay shipping direct. But for me, it has not been a priority to switch from Global Shipping Program. And I've also been protected through Global Shipping Program. When an international sale went south, I was protected and I got paid because I was using that program. So I just responded to this woman quickly and said, I do all my international shipping through Global Shipping Program. If you have any questions about how they handle customs or the shipping costs, please feel free to contact eBay directly. I don't even know how it works. How Global Shipping works is I buy the label to ship it to Kentucky. I don't see how it goes, tracking where it goes. My responsibility is just to get it to Kentucky. eBay's third-party system, they take over and they get it to the person. So I really don't even know how it works. And I don't need to. That's why I'm using the service. So I respond to this woman, and basically she went back and forth with me a couple times. And it got to the point of the 5th message, and she was basically, obviously not quoted, but I remember it very well. She said, I had bought so many items. I think she threw out a number of hundreds of items from sellers in the US. I've always asked about customs. Not one of them has ever told me to contact eBay. I will not contact eBay. That was in bold. I will not contact eBay. It's your responsibility. And it clearly shows that you are the dumbest, stupidest American out there that shouldn't even be living. It was no joke. She was this dramatic because I kept referring her to eBay and clearly telling her, I don't know about customs. I think this was the final straw for her. This was the final message that made her go off the deep end. So I kept telling her, contact eBay, contact eBay. It was two times that I said that. The 3rd response that I gave her was, she had asked me, well, can you at least write on the outside of the package, used clothing or pre-owned clothing, something. And my 3rd response to her was, I'm laughing about it because I genuinely was trying to be helpful, but it pissed her off so bad. If I write this on the outside of the packaging, I am sending this item to an eBay department, I didn't say third party, but an eBay department in Kentucky. And it's my understanding that they will repackage items. And so if I write on the outside of this poly mailer, it might be covered in new packaging. And when it arrives to you, might not have that, and you're going to come back and be upset with me even though I tried, even if I tried. So again, I think this is a situation where you're going to want to contact eBay and ask how they can maybe help from the global shipping program. Now, when you write things, people are going to hear it in different tones or read it in different tones. Like, she's probably reading it in like, oh, she's being bitchy with me. That's how she's probably thinking I'm saying. I'm just direct. I'm a very direct person, especially, I just don't like to candy coat. I'm not going to put smiley faces. I just don't candy coat. You ask a question, I'm going to answer the question, and I'm just going to put the facts down. So anyway, she came back. She called me all those names. I'm the stupidest, dumbest. She didn't use those. She was using proper English, but she was calling me the stupidest and dumbest American. I shouldn't even be alive. She hopes that like I get kicked off the platform. I mean, it was just this long message of just attack. And I'm sitting there going, I mean, A, I'm not dumb. So you can call me dumb. You can call me stupid. I'm not. It's like, maybe if there was an underlying level of insecurity around something and she called me that, I would feel sad about it. I don't. I mean, I get messages or comments on YouTube, and it's like, most of them are so far off from the reality or truth that they don't affect me because they're just not possibly true. So her calling me that didn't hurt my feelings, but it did make me feel like threatened. Like telling me that I shouldn't even be alive. It wasn't a threat. She wasn't threatening me to say like, I'm going to kill you or someone should kill you. She just, she was just angry. So when I contacted eBay, I told them, I said, I just want to block her. And I also want to file some sort of like, not to open a case, but just document that she did this. My whole concern is that, or the only reason I even take the time to do something like that is if this person does this again to someone else, maybe eBay will see that there's a track record. I don't know if they have that in their customer service team of like keeping notes on us. Like they can read our messages, they can see our transactions and that kind of stuff. But I don't know if maybe they keep notes. Well, they did send me notes because she did send me notes of our conversation. And she said, I'm going to send you a transcript of our conversation that will be documented on this case. So, maybe someone down the road, if they're also attacked verbally by someone, maybe they'll take action against this buyer. I don't know. It's not up to me. It's not my platform, but I just wanted to do my due diligence of documenting it. And also just learning about like, I don't want this woman sending me more messages, like she's on one. Mind you, the other funny thing about this is the item that she wanted, one of the 3 items that she wanted to buy, the most expensive of the 3 was this, oh son, we've got to talk, was this, if I come over here, was this, it was a button front shirt. I probably had it listed for, 6 months or something. And I probably had it listed for like $80, maybe marked it down once. I don't remember. She bought it for $41 when the order that I canceled. And I ended up relisting it, obviously, after I canceled her transaction. And 6 months later, it sold for $50. So, it's not that big of a deal. It just kind of gave me a giggle. But I guess, like, in that situation, everyone has the right, if you're somewhat being respectful, I think you have the right to decide who you want to sell to and do business with. And if you have bad experiences, I don't want to become that grumpy reseller that like has a couple bad experiences and thinks all buyers are bad. And I don't. But I do think sometimes you have those experiences that help guide you and navigate you through decisions in the future where you're just like, I kind of want to avoid people like that. And there tends to be a common theme with them. They tend to be kind of like message a lot, needy with like communication, demanding. And I sell to plenty of people who ask when I'm going to ship an item. I sell to plenty of people who ask questions about pricing. Like I accepted her offer eventually. So it's not that I am not tolerating anyone. It's just, there's just too many red flags with certain people. And I don't want to deal with them, So those are my 2. I can't remember the other one. There was one about a year ago when I called eBay and I was like, she was calling me names as well. That's really it though. In 4 years, if I can recall correctly, there's really only been 3, maybe one that I'm forgetting, bad customer experiences. And I don't think that's terrible. I mean, there's been bad people on Poshmark, but on Poshmark you can block them, right? Yeah, you can block people and they can't message you. So I think Poshmark does it right there. I think I'm right. I have blocked people and they don't message me. So I think Poshmark's doing it right there. Now we have a little bit of sun going down. So I was going to finish this portion. It's kind of personal, but kind of reselling because in the last couple weeks, I have met some of my virtual reselling friends in real life. And two of them actually stayed at my house this weekend and we had so much fun. Now that's not common. It's not an open door policy at my house for any reseller. These are people that I've been talking to for years online and we've built a friendship and I knew that they were coming to Southern California. So I had thrown out the option of, hey, since you're driving from Vegas to LA, maybe you would want to crash one night here, save a little money on a hotel, and also just like it's not too far out of the way. So they took me up on it and we had so much fun. These apples, we went to an apple farm here and it wasn't apple picking because they've already done the harvest, but they sell them there. And it was just super cute. Like we talked to the owners and we bought apples, we bought an apple pie. I still have some of it. I'm trying not to eat it all in one day. But Tracy and Danica. So Tracy, both of them have been on YouTube off and on over the years. And I will link both of their Instagram accounts down below in case you want to go give them a follow. Or Danica, she's on YouTube. You can go give her a follow. She's hysterical. But it was just so much fun. Like we already talk about non-reselling stuff as friends, but I think one of the fun things about the reselling community is we have this commonality, but then you start to get to know some people and their personal lives. And, obviously they've seen my videos, so they kind of already had an idea of what to expect by coming here. And we had already talked about like plenty of reselling stuff and non-reselling stuff, but it just was so much fun. And I don't know. We may not have official coworkers in this community, and I don't have enough time to like constantly be around resellers. Like when I go thrift, I actually try most of the time to actually focus and find stuff. And I do get distracted. Like I can't multitask very successfully. So when I'm talking to people, that's the other thing. So Tracy and Danica, they stayed at my house this weekend. We had a blast. We didn't do any thrifting here. I might go see them this week in LA and go thrift with them down there. It just depends on my schedule. But I also met Bob Buys, who, her name's Erin, but she has a YouTube channel. I'll link that as well. She messaged me kind of out of the blue and said she was in Southern California for a conference. And she just wanted to know if I was already thrifting in LA, like maybe we could meet up. And it was last week and it was just a crazy, crazy week. And so I was like, I will try to make it work. When do you leave? Like, I'm going to try and squeeze something in. I mean, keep in mind, LA is, closest thrift stores are 2 hours away from me. So it's not a quick trip. I do need to thrift though. So I got to meet her. We got to thrift for half a day. We went and had lunch. It's just so great to meet some people who are just like you would imagine. Like they're real. They're exactly how they are online, and the conversation's easy and good. And I don't know, it's really fun. And I think there's something really nice about when someone else has a YouTube channel, because I've watched their content too. So I kind of feel like I already know them. So it's not just that they've seen mine. I also did thrift with my friend Pam. So this is really weird. Pam and I used to work in LA. So I lived in LA when I was 19 and 20. My first college was in Boston. Then I moved to LA. I thought I was going to transfer there. I transferred again. I just couldn't make up my mind. So I had a part-time job at a development company in LA. And I had coworkers. And I hung out with them occasionally. I went to one of their weddings. And that one, Pam, she reached out to me a couple years ago and said, hey, Courtney, I noticed you resell. I've been reselling since I knew you back then. I was like, oh my gosh, you do? And she's like, yeah, part-time, but I'm hoping to go full-time at some point. So anyways, for probably almost 2 years, we've been trying to get together. Obviously COVID threw in a little bit of a challenge, but it's been about 2 years of us talking. And someone I used to hang out with and consider a friend, and she lives in LA. It's just hard to schedule things at times. So anyways, after 2 years of trying, I finally got to go thrift with her. I'm sure I'll have her in a bins haul or a thrift haul at some point soon. But in the last couple weeks, I have just had a lot of reselling social time, and it's just fun. I mean, I haven't been as successful with thrifting because I'm so distracted, but it's just been really fun to A, meet people I've interacted with virtually for a long time, and B, also meet an old friend who that's just weird. Like, it's a small world when people do the same thing. So on that note, it is almost time. It's time. So on that note, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to take the dog outside, and I'll fill you in on personal stuff. All right. It's too noisy outside with the birds, a neighbor riding a dirt bike, and there's some bucks out there coming this way, so we don't need Luna chasing the boys right now, because that's what she does. Right? You can come sit right here, right? I know you're a good dog. Did you have so much fun when we had company this weekend? All right, so personal. No, Boo, you can't. No. Okay, come over here. You have to be patient. That's not something you know how to do, but just chill, okay? So I'll start with real estate because I know people are curious about that. So I'm still in escrow. Escrow takes usually somewhere between 30 and 45 days. That's written in or negotiated. So most of the work is pretty much done. I'm still waiting on a couple things from the seller's agent, and which I have to finish a couple things, but it's been a really interesting couple weeks. I feel like part of having gone through a home purchase and knowing how stressful it is and knowing all the moving parts and just you have an escrow team reaching out to you. You have to schedule your inspection. You have to find homeowners insurance. You're dealing with your lender on all the details. It's just a lot for new home buyers. And so I feel like because I went through that and I can relate, I'm patient, which I think is good. I also think it helps that I'm part-time with real estate, that I'm not juggling a whole bunch of clients. Like, I am juggling multiple clients who are still looking for homes, but I only have one escrow right now. And I think that's really helpful because I can be focused on that. But even though I've just got the one, I'm also still there are days where I just want to turn my phone on airplane mode and just be focused. And I can't right now because, obviously I can take some time off, but this last weekend was the first weekend I didn't get a real estate call in a month, which I'm not complaining about. I needed the break. I am hoping to go camping soon. Obviously, what I'm trying to navigate or figure out right now is I still need to focus on work-life balance. And I was talking to Bob Buys about, you have a lot on your plate. And she was being very nice about it. But yeah, I am. And one thing she said was, but I still appreciate that you're trying to make an effort to have time off and to share that, because I think in the reselling space, we have so much of this hustle culture. And I think for the majority of people, that just leads to burnout, that leads to quitting. And I think it's important to, if needed, to schedule time off. Now you take Tracy and Danica, they were talking a lot about you do this all on your own, and they were being very complimentary of that. And I really appreciate when people do, say, wow, you do this all on your own. You don't have another income. You're making things work, because they both are married and they don't rely on their reselling income or their YouTube income or, their self-employed income. But I also think everyone has different situations. And, so I don't know any other life. I've always been self-sufficient in paying my bills. As an adult. And, I think ever since becoming a homeowner, I've really become much better about finances. I would miss a student loan payment 10 years ago and I'd be like, I just wasn't, I wasn't on top of my finances. But once I bought a home and I had to go through that process, I was like, ooh, I've done, like, I don't have credit cards. I try to save. Like, there's plenty of things I would love to do on my house, and I could get a home equity loan, but I'm choosing to just save up to make those changes. And as time goes on, make changes over time. So I think I've just become a more responsible adult around finances, and I'm so appreciative of that, but I really don't know any different. And I don't think it's all like, Bob Buys, she was saying how shocking the prices were at thrift stores. And I was just, but when you live here, you don't know any different. And you still find your honey holes that are cheaper. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some expensive stores, but you're going to find some good deals somewhere, like the bins, and some honey holes, or maybe some, yard sales and stuff. But the real estate stuff, I think for me, it will be really nice if all of this works out. It has not been smooth. It's been smooth, but it's been a lot of communication, a lot of documents, moving parts. And that's all after you've spent a lot of time with two people who are just trying to find a home, and there's no guarantee. And so I think what I'm learning is I don't want to be on call all the time. That is not what I got into reselling for. That is not, I mean, I knew that real estate had some weekend stuff, and I knew that people, sometimes when they could talk about homes is at night and on weekends and stuff like that. But I don't want that full time. And I think going through this experience has just taught me that if I get this home sale, it'll be one in the first year, which was my goal. And I don't know anyone that lives here. I don't have friends or family that live where I live. And so I don't have already a network. I don't socialize much here. So I don't have a network of people to reach out to and say, hey, if you need to sell a home, of course, we've got more light. The sun it's almost going down. It doesn't bother me. It's probably bothering you, but some of you. But so really, it's been wonderful to know that the YouTube idea for the third channel, the real estate channel, has been producing some people who have found me and need a real estate agent and feel connected and have complimented me on the videos saying I've been helpful, and they felt like they kind of got to know me a little bit. And so this year, if this house goes through, hoping everything works out, it will be one in my first year. I don't think one will happen. I mean, I could potentially write another offer. I do have other buyers I'm working with, but it's not as urgent. They haven't found their dream house yet. And I know some people ask about interest rates. Am I worried about that? I mean, most people know that if you buy a house and it's the right time for you with your finances and your living situation or your life situation, you can refinance. And I mean, I didn't have 2.5 interest rates from a couple years ago because I was self-employed, and I didn't think I could refinance because I didn't have that stability of self-employed for more than a few years at that time. So I don't remember my interest rate, but I want to say it's right around 4, like 4.25 or something. That's not terrible. And would I have refinanced if I were employed? Why does that sound weird? If I was not self-employed and when the interest rates dropped to under 3%, I probably would have refinanced, but I didn't. And I'm still okay. I'm paying my home, and, I'm watching my equity build up. And I think, playing the market or trying to play the market, whether through interest rates, whether through the right time, the peak times, the best times, it's a really tough thing to do. So I'm not worried that people are going to continue to buy. Some people need to move for work. Some people want to get out of the cities, and it's going to be way cheaper for them to move somewhere like here. I know, dog. I know we're going to go play outside in a little bit, right? Maybe we'll go on a WALK. We'll go down by the LAKE, right? I know you've been so patient today, and I very much appreciate it. So I'm not worried about people continuing to find me. I just worry about, I don't want too many real estate clients. So the good thing about that is with most brokerages, your broker is who you have to have a broker if you're a real estate agent to be able to do real estate. So you get your real estate license, but you actually have to be under a broker. And it's from a legal perspective. It's also like I go to my broker and he helps answer questions and all that kind of stuff. But I know, we're going to go soon. So the good thing about being with a brokerage is there's other agents. And if I get to a point where I just can't take someone, I don't have the bandwidth, I can refer. And if they do end up getting a sale from that, I get a percentage of their commission. And so I think what I'm learning is like, I'm going to have a cap. If I hit 4 sales in a year and then, I get 3 more people calling, I'm just going to take that time and go, I can't start a new real estate client because it's so much communication. And I know that's part of a lot of jobs. I'm not complaining about it. It's just, I don't want to build a business. I don't want to become a full-time realtor. And I think, for maybe 5 a year, maybe 6 would be my absolute cap. But I am trying to still keep my reselling business. I've worked hard for it and I enjoy it. I'm still trying to keep YouTube. So it's just, I'm trying to, and I still want time off, I do think that my my first 2 houses, all of the commission money is going to IRS and savings, taxes for this year, which are paid next spring, and retirement savings. And then my 3rd house, I'm probably going to pay for a home project, not the whole commission, but finish my fence. That should be $1,000 or $2,000. So a small percentage of my commission will go to finish my fence. And it'll be like about 2,000, unfortunately. But, and then my 4th house, I'm thinking that might be the time that I take a week. I go somewhere international. And then maybe my 5th house, I get an air conditioner. I mean, it all depends, obviously, on timing and stuff. But I do have plans to utilize this in a way where I'm saving money, I'm putting stuff into retirement, I'm paying my taxes, I'm paying my bills every month, but I'm still making time to have time off. And it doesn't feel like it right now, but I think it's the same with YouTube. Like everything right now with real estate has been an investment of time and money. And I'm hopeful that if I could get to the place where I'm selling 4 to 6 houses a year, it will all be worth that investment of time. But right now it just feels like I have spent a lot of time on this and I still have not been paid a dime. In fact, I've just paid. So, and it's not complaining. It's just, I think some people are interested in real estate as it is complementary to reselling because you do have the flexible work schedule. This is the chicken and I tear it and she just watches me when I'm holding it. You can't see her, right? I know. So that's real estate. What else? Yoga's been really hard. I mean, I brought up the yoga class today, but it's been so hard and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because it is in town. I can't go to as many classes as I want. I'm friends with the owner and some of another instructor and a couple people that go there and we socialize but this unfortunate thing about being in a small town is we only have one yoga studio and it doesn't have a huge selection of classes. So Sundays, no yoga. There's no yoga classes on Sunday, which is fine. I don't go into town on Sundays anyways. But the owner likes to do power classes, power yoga. She likes to do a style called Baptiste yoga. That's one of my least favorite things. I do yoga because I got in a car accident, not my fault. And my back was injured when I was young. And the doctor said, unless you want to have back surgery later in life, you just need to do something like yoga for the rest of your life. And so I've off and on done yoga and I've really been committed recently. And it's been a great break from reselling and great to meet people and have a social life. But I do not like the power classes. I do not do it to become some yoga rock star. I just like the ones where I have a good stretch. I push myself a little bit. But, yoga studios have to do the best that they can. So there's really only a few classes that I like and I pay for the monthly. Anyways, I'm bringing this up I think I might switch to the per class thing. It's like a punch card type thing. I feel bad because I want to be supportive and I would like to go more. It's just a combination of things it's just been so busy and I can't make a lot of the classes I do like. And then I'm left with classes that I just don't want to go to. I mean, and I'll do a power class. It's not the end of the world. It's not that I can't. It's just that's not what I enjoy about yoga. So what else? So like I said, I'm going camping and I'm trying to figure out where I want to go, which obviously I don't ever share where I'm going before or while I'm somewhere because safety. But I'm just trying to figure out, I really the weather's perfect this time of year. The mountains are cool, but they're not covered in snow yet. The beaches are nice, usually breezy, not too hot, not too cold. I just am trying to figure out where I want to go. Do I want to go somewhere new How far do I want to go? How long do I want to go? It would be really nice to go. I know, boo. It'd be really nice to go on like a full 3-day camp trip. I would love to do a 4-day. I just don't think I can pull that right now, but I don't know. So I'm just trying to think about that. And I'm trying to schedule some stuff with friends soon. So that's basically my personal life. Right now, it doesn't feel like I have too much of it, but I did have a fun weekend with friends. I have been trying to take time off, and I know it will all be worth it someday. I will have balance again someday. So that is it. I need to take this dog on a walk, right, Boo? Oh, I just said the word, and she just like perked up. I want to go on a walk. Everyone likes a little. You're not looking at the camera to show them, Boo. Do you want to go on a walk? Why didn't you do the ear tilt? That's it. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.